get this question at least once a week. How should I slip this stitch? And it seems easy enough. Slipping a stitch is sliding it from the left needle to the right without working it. But when you start to think about all the different ways you can slip a stitch, knitwise, purlwise, with yarn in front, with yarn in back, and every combination of those things, then you do start to wonder. Okay, I'm going to answer it here. The default way of slipping a stitch is just to slip it purlwise with yarn in back. We're going to look at that here. Let's go ahead and just do that now. I have this bit of knitting here, and I'm going to pretend that the next stitch in my knitting pattern tells me to slip the next stitch. No further instructions, just slip the next stitch. If my pattern says that, I'm always going to slip it purlwise with the working yarn in back. And to do that, I slide my right needle into the next stitch as if to purl and slide it over. As if to purl and slide it over. Now there are some decorative stitches on the, even on the right side of the work that will have you slipping it as if to purl with yarn in front. And that's always abbreviated WYIF. To do that, I pull the working yarn forward between the two stitches and slip that stitch from the left needle to the right. And then usually the next stitch will be a knit. So for whatever reason, the pattern has me sort of putting a wrap around this stitch without working it. There'll be all kinds of reasons that you'll see these different things. So again, default is to slip as if to purl with the working yarn in back, but a pattern could tell you to slip with working yarn in front, which means you pull the working yarn forward and slip as if to purl. Okay? The other way of slipping a stitch would be knitwise. And to do that, you put your needle in as if to knit and slip it from left needle to the right. That twists the stitch. A normal, correctly mounted stitch has the right leg in front, and you'll see on this stitch here, the right leg is in back. It twisted the stitch. And if a pattern has you slipping a stitch as if to knit, there's a good reason for it. They want you to have that stitch twisted. There's also the possibility a pattern will tell you to slip knitwise with yarn in front. I'm not sure that I've ever seen this, but it is possible. So you're going to pull the yarn forward between the two needles, put the needle in as if to knit on the next stitch, and slide it over. So yeah, I'm not sure why a pattern would call for that, but we're pushing the limits of slipping stitches. Now, this is all the same on the purl side of the work. Let me just go ahead and wrap a stitch here. Not part of this technique video, just getting my working yarn in the right place. If a pattern has you slip a stitch on the wrong side of the work, if a pattern just says slip the next stitch, you're going to want to keep the working yarn where it is. On the purl side of the work, that's going to be in front, and slip as if to purl. A lot of times in patterns, if you're working short rows especially, the pattern will tell you to slip purlwise with the yarn in back. So default on the wrong side row is to keep the yarn where it is, in front, and slip as if to purl. Slipping as if to knit will twist the stitch, so don't do it unless your pattern tells you to. Slipping with the yarn in back on a wrong side row puts your yarn in position to wrap the next stitch, so don't do that unless the pattern tells you. Just to reiterate one more time, if a pattern just says to slip a stitch, it's always purlwise. Good luck.